104.5 The Team, your home for New York sports. We got to go to Cleveland. We got to get some more news out of Cleveland. And luckily for us, we've got Matt Fontana. He is part of ESPN Radio in Cleveland. Matt, I have been saying all year there's no way this Browns team can go 0-16. Did you believe that by this point the team would still be defeated?
Well, each week we always tell ourselves, look, it's hard to be this statistically bad, yet they keep doing it. So, I mean, with 3 games left, it's kind of hard to have optimism that they're going to be able to win one of those games. It just seems like each and every week, and even before the season, we knew how bad this team was, but with 16 chances, you would think you would somehow luck your way into a win. And unfortunately for the Browns, I think their luck might have been in that Miami game when we missed what would have been a game-winning field goal, we ended up losing in overtime. So, I have a bad feeling the luck might be run out with the Browns, and we might be looking at the second team in NFL history to finish 0-16.
Wow. We look at this matchup overall, and they take on the Bills. Is there any weakness against the Buffalo Bills that maybe Cleveland can at least take advantage in that part of the game?
I mean, I look at it, and it's almost you got to find a strength for the Browns to do that. To take advantage of a weakness, you've got to turn that into a strength for the Browns. And I think just on the Browns side of things, I think RG3 will be a little bit better than he was last week, just coming off the rust. But I mean, with Marcel Darius up front, our offensive line is pretty bad right now. It's pretty makeshift. And now today, coming down from the NFL, a guy that had started a couple games at guard for us, Alvin Bailey, has been suspended for 2 games after his ODI rest earlier in the year, so he's going to be out this weekend. So, I mean, when you talk about facing a pretty good front with a defensive-minded coach and Rex Ryan, that's certainly not going to be an advantage for the Browns. I think if you have Stephon Gilmore, if he's going to be matching up with Terrell Pryor, I mean, that might be a wash there. And then defensively, obviously the Browns are going to have to try to stop a pretty good rushing attack by the Bills. So it's hard to see your matchup right now that favors the Browns.
Matt Fontana with us right now on 104.5 The Team, part of ESPN Cleveland, covers the Browns. So if the team is that bad, Matt, why didn't they make moves? Like, why is Joe Hayden and Joe Thomas still part of Cleveland?
Well, I think they just, at the time, a lot of people have called for that. I actually personally think that Joe Hayden is probably on his way out of Cleveland, just for his play and all that kind of stuff, and it just seems like he could probably benefit from moving on. I think the only reason they didn't trade one of those guys is just to give some semblance of hope to this team and this fan base. I think if you trade both those guys, then that's it. You're pretty much hitting the reset button on the season at that point. So I honestly think really the only reason they haven't traded them is just to try to keep the locker room together. And if you talk to Hugh Jackson, he sounds to be staunchly against trading Joe Thomas, and he really hasn't commented on Joe Hayden either way.
What's the long-term plan at quarterback for the Browns? We've seen guys like Kevin Hogan get some reps, Cody Kessler, Robert Griffin III. Is there a guy they're leaning towards for 2017 and beyond?
I say that's a good question. I mean, that's the biggest question facing the Browns. It's the question the Browns have been facing since 1999. They need to find one, and then go figure the year that we get the first overall pick and have 2 first-round picks, it's not looking like there is a slam-dunk quarterback in this draft. Going into next year, it wouldn't shock me if they used both those first-round picks on non-quarterback positions and just said, hey, we need to get through another season with RG3 and go try to draft another quarterback in the draft later on. I am interested to see how the Jimmy Garoppolo rumors shake out, with some people saying he might be available on a trade. I am one, and I would say Cleveland is probably pretty split on possibly trading our second first-round pick for Garoppolo. I think that's something that's of interest here in Cleveland, so we'll have to keep our eye on that.
Matt Fontana from ESPN Cleveland with us right here on 104.5 The Team. Matt, what is the long-term hopes for this team? Like, Hugh Jackson is safe, right, no matter what happens?
It's funny because everybody said that, and I am of the belief that before the season, Jimmy probably gave him that kind of pep talk to say no matter what happens, we're going to keep you around. But I don't think he had 0-16 in his mind when he said that, so that's where it might be an interesting conversation to have with, when they sit down at the end of the year. I think he is safe. I think, Jimmy Haslam a couple weeks ago reportedly, Jason Locke for the story, that they had a meeting with all their employees, and they said that part of the issues are the constant rebuilding and the constant change of coaches and GMs and all that. I think Hugh Jackson is safe for at least next year, but if they don't win at least 4 games next year, then he might be out of a job.
One of the other big stories from the offseason, Matt, was like the Moneyball aspect that was going to come into the front office. Okay, so you're not a fan.
I mean, it came in, here's the thing, at the end of the day, it has not produced us any wins, so I can't really be of faith of it. I am extremely skeptical of it. I am extremely, I question it. I am not a big fan of it. And Paul DePodesta is he's a really smart guy. He's a lot smarter than me. Sashi Brown is much smarter than me. But at the end of the day, we don't have any wins to show that this actually works. And granted, some of their decision-making on the roster front as far as releasing Paul Kruger and getting rid of Dante Whitner, yeah, those guys haven't gone on and done great things. But then I look at Mitchell Schwartz and Alex Mack, our two biggest offensive line losses, and they're both playing extremely well for the Falcons and the Chiefs. So I would say, yes, you could say it worked on getting rid of a couple of guys, but I can also say that it failed epically when they let a few guys walk. So it remains to be seen.
You're there right there in Ohio. You're feeling the fan base, and the Cleveland fan has changed over the last 18 months. You had the Cavaliers win a championship, the Indians get to Game 7 of the World Series. Is the Brown fan base just wanting to win to avoid embarrassment? Are they starting to lose even, I guess, faith in the organization and fans are getting turned away? What is the fan base like right now in Cleveland for the Browns?
The worst part for the Browns, and that was the thing, people, in the past at least, people used to get upset. Now it's just, they almost don't even care anymore. Apathy is almost worse than hate. Because then if the worst thing you'd probably say is, I don't care about something. And that's almost where Browns fans are, because now they have the cash to keep their interest, and they've got other things to keep, to spend their money on. And, we saw the ticket prices. You can get into the Browns game last week for $3.
Oh.
And it was just, people aren't even going down. I know people, I have family friends, my brother, they can't give tickets away if they wanted to. And it's just, people are almost to that point where they don't care. And that's dangerous ground for any professional team.
ESPN's Matt Fontana with us right here, 104.5 The Team. So you said that you think they could go 0-16. If they were to get a victory, is this the week, or do you look at maybe home for the Chargers? I mean, you don't really think Pittsburgh's the one, but maybe they're resting people. If you had to pick one where you said this is our absolute best chance in Cleveland to win, which of the last three is it?
I want to say it's this weekend, but you guys know the cold weather. Last week I kept trying to put it on, the cold weather, the bad weather, and the Bengals still kind of smashed us. So I don't know. I think you're right with the Chargers, and that's just a bunch of, they're a warm weather team playing in the cold. So I think our best chance will be the Chargers, if at all. But like I said, if I was a betting man, I wouldn't be betting that the Browns get a victory.
Whew. Oh, Matt Fontana. I've been saying all year they're not going to go 0-16. Oh.
We've all been in Cleveland. We all kept saying that for about 13 weeks now, and it's still right here.
Matt, we appreciate you, and I do hope it turns around for you. I'm a fan of Hugh Jackson, and I think you got the right guy. Hopefully, long term.
I appreciate it. Take it easy on us on Sunday, will you?